You could tell he was only putting it on. He was rarely seen without a cigarette burning in his mouth. He'd always been fond of cigarettes, but was fast becoming what was known as a chain smoker. It was the same with drink, his intake of the hard stuff having gone up by a mile. "Are you sad you're leaving, Bernie boy?" Ray asked at the party, thinking that was the reason for his miserable gob. "Of course I am, Ray. I was born and bred in Dublin. The thought of leaving is tearing me guts apart." "Well, stay, Bernie, stay. There's not a single soul here that wants to see the back of yous. Aren't we all like one big happy family?" Patrick Adams, Dick O'Neill, Bernie and Ray himself had met at Trinity College in Dublin, where they'd been taking their various degrees. They had remained friends ever since. Ray was fonder of Bernie, Patrick and Dick than he was of his own brothers. "It's not possible," Bernie sighed. "Anyway, it's time for a change. Things have to move on, progress, or you just get stuck in a rut for the rest of your life. Like I said, I'm moving for me own and me girl's sake. We could well end up in London one of these days." The party was well over by midnight, a good 5 hours before Bernie's parties usually came to a riotous end. After everyone had gone, he urged his daughters to go to bed straight away. "I've changed me mind. We're leaving early tomorrow, instead of Monday," he told them. "Are yous all packed and ready to go?" Patricia and Tara agreed they were, but Aideen, always the awkward one, nearly had a fit. "I'm not nearly ready, Daddy," she said angrily. With her dark red hair and green eyes, she was the only one to take after her dad, except she didn't possess hardly any of his charismatic ways. The other girls resembled their pale, golden, long-deceased mother. "Then get your sisters to give you a hand," Bernie ordered his middle daughter. "We're leaving promptly at 10 o'clock in the morning, and that's that." Tara gasped in horror. "But what about Mass?" "You'll just have to go to the 7 o'clock, her father snapped. "But Daddy," Patricia, the eldest, reminded him, "all of our friends are coming tomorrow to say goodbye." They'd been invited to afternoon tea. "Well, they'll just have to say goodbye to the empty air," said Bernie, "because you'll all be on the boat sailing to Liverpool." "Also, Daddy," Aideen said crossly, glaring at her father. He didn't scare any one of them the least little bit. "I really think we should stay up and take the plates and glasses out to Nora for her to wash, as well as help her tidy up a bit." The downstairs rooms were littered with the detritus of the party. "Go to bed, the lot of yous," Bernie yelled, "or I'll put you over me knee, one by one, and give you a good spanking." Tara laughed. "Just try it, Daddy, and I promise it'll be you who'll get the spanking." Nevertheless, all three went upstairs to bed. They might not be scared of their charming daddy, but they loved him and didn't want him upset. They could tell something was wrong and didn't want to make things worse. It was February and it was freezing. There were specks of frost in the air, being blown to and fro by an icy wind when Bernie Kelly and his shivering girls left the house by Phoenix Park the next morning. A car was parked outside to take them to Dunlegair, from where the boat sailed to Liverpool, as well as a van for their luggage. Each girl carried a little valise that contained nightclothes and toiletries. It might be a while before the trunks could be opened, Bernie had explained. A tearful Nora stood on the steps and waved goodbye. It was warm on the boat, in the first-class lounge, though the sea outside was the colour of dirty pea soup, according to Aideen, who had a way with words and a vivid imagination. A fierce wind whistled wildly. They were thrilled to finally reach Liverpool, though nearly froze to death when they disembarked from the boat and made their way to another car that was to take them to the Adelphi Hotel, where their father had booked a suite on the 2nd floor. Their new house wasn't quite ready to move into, Bernie explained. There were still 1 or 2 things that had to be done. Fortunately, it only took a jiffy to get to the hotel. "This is nice,"